previous session, I explained some of the considerations to think through when planning how trash can will be implemented. Now I want to talk about the various implementation designs that are available. As we have grown, we have extended our platform to accommodate varying needs. The two questions that you have to answer are: how do you want to track your operations, and how do you want your teams interacting with the mobile app? The initial design was built to track waste collection services for each door in the community. While there are some benefits in tracking this way, we found that many clients have different objectives. For some of you, having a paper trail that you and your team were in the proximity of the resident's door may be sufficient. TrashCan supports the setup of properties where a bin tag is installed in a location within the building, breezeway, or floor to verify to your property managers that your team service each location expected. This approach is our recommended approach for implementation on existing properties. For new properties, you have the opportunity to provide an extra layer of reporting by tracking services to each resident. This is enabled by placement of bin tags on each trash bin. Fortunately, in the case of a new property, you have that opportunity if you place the bin tags on the bin before distributing them to residents. The second question is, how do you want your team to use the app? TrashCan allows your team members to log services by manual entry into the mobile app interface. Taking this approach, your team can begin using TrashCan by simply adding your properties into the app and having your employees download it. However, your team will not have the infrastructure in place for utilizing the scanning technology of TrashCan. The scanning technology of TrashCan is dependent on placement of 2-inch wide, 2-inch length QR codes made of highly durable label print. Our team generates these labels and print them as a service to you. Rolling out TrashCan to a property where scanning will be done requires placement of these QR codes physically on the property. Before taking this step, you should coordinate with your property managers to avoid any hiccups in the rollout process. Now let me walk you through the differences to be expected in tracking services for each door versus using our checkpoint design. First, there is the implementation. If you take the route of using checkpoints, there are less number of bin tags to install on the property. Obviously, you have to be more familiar with the property layout if you want to track services with each unit. You need to know things like the buildings and the units that are present within each building and the numbering scheme that those units follow. The second difference is service tracking. Tracking at the door level offers much more insights into the waste collection operations. If you care about metrics for each unit service, then go for it. But if it's not that important to you and you only want to report that you and your team were present in the proximity, the checkpoint design is sufficient. The last difference is violation management. The door design has benefits in that it tracks collection and violation history of that particular unit and resident. If the property manager has policies to assess fines based on that resident being a repeat offender, then the door design will be the right decision for you. The second question that you want to address is, how do you want your team to use TrashCan? Do you want them documenting services through use of their device touchpad? Or would you prefer them use a scan feature? The scan technology of TrashCan enables porters to move swiftly from door to door, logging services, minimizing the need to access their mobile device. The mobile phone has QR code scanners to log waste collection and violations. And the scan function can be performed with the mobile phone enclosed into a wristband. or by using a Bluetooth scanner that can be worn on the finger, similar to wearing a ring. These add-ons enable your workforce to log services hands-free. Lastly, geofencing and administrative scanner controls combine to give your valet trash operations the seal of integrity. Your team scanning the QR coded bin tags assures property managers your porters were within range to scan it. A system of checks and balances that is difficult to falsify. This is something to consider, but it is not a fit for everyone. So that's it on trash scan implementation design. Just to recap, you can design your properties to be tracked the way that makes sense for you. The option to track and report services for specific units, breezeways, or buildings is up to you. Enabling the scan mode increases speed, convenience, and integrity. Take some time to think about what makes sense for you. If you have any questions on how you should set up your properties, don't hesitate to reach out to us.